This was one large classroom, and during spring break, we built this wall and made 3 recording rooms. Spotify donated all of the equipment on the desks, the recording equipment, the design of the acoustical space. That mural was in the Spotify house. Those pictures detail some of the activities that happened during South by Southwest, the construction. This long table was in the Spotify house. These computers are what we use in our classroom. They run Ableton Live. It's the real deal software that all the pros are using nowadays. Skrillex, Diplo, Justin Bieber, all using this software. The push controller is what we use, and you're seeing the birth of a new instrument on par with the violin or piano. It can play melodies, chords, beats. It can arrange our songs, do live performance, and with the knobs we can modify and sound sculpt and do lots of different things. I'm going to go rogue here and give you a visual tour of what you don't see in this classroom. When I was 11, I started taking drum lessons. I went to all the solo and ensemble competitions and won ribbons. I was in the all-state orchestra and the all-state band. I went to college as a music major. I played everything my teacher told me. I played everything my band director told me to play and my conductor told me to play. Oftentimes I was playing notes that some guy 200 years ago was telling me exactly what to play. My senior year in college, I got to tour the country to play a multiple percussion piece. I went up to Canada and I came down to UT Austin. Part of that piece was play the kalimba and play a solo on the kalimba, improvise it. So I went outside Bass Concert Hall and sat underneath the tree and figured out, what am I going to play on this thing? And it was awesome. For the first time I was invited to play my own music. And that's what we do in this class. Music production means we compose our own music. We make our own music. Some of my favorite lessons are, who was the very first music producer ever? Thomas Edison. He invented the phonograph. So that's the first time music is being recorded. But the lesson I teach is not about the light bulb. The lesson I teach is about perspiration. Because when we're making music, we have to try things. We have to play the notes this way. We have to start on a different note. We have to play it with a different phrasing, change the dynamics. And we have to do it over and over again. And it sounds awful, and it's not right, and it's no good. But if we keep doing it, then eventually our heads start to nod, and we make something that's really, really nice. So I teach that to the kids when we're starting to make bass lines and riffs and chords. Just keep plugging away at it, and you're going to find something. Another of my favorite lessons is about Lindsey Stirling. Lindsey Stirling is a violin player, dancer, and we watch her on America's Got Talent, and she gets 3 red buzzers in front of the whole audience, in front of national TV. And the people are telling her, the problem with you is, and you're not good enough because. And she listens to them and she says, thank you. And I teach that lesson when the kids start to share their music with each other. Because we need to listen to people's criticism, and maybe there's a good idea in it. But if you've made something that you like, then stick with it. And be secure in what you've been making. Lindsey Stirling is the highest paid person on YouTube in the whole world right now. The last lesson I teach is this one. Play. If you imagine a kid in a sandbox, what's he doing? He's smushing his figures and he's putting sand, he's doing all kinds of things. And what I want us to do is what Clapton and Hendrix and Prince and Bowie did. They were all self-taught. That doesn't mean they didn't listen to people and learn things, but that means they spent an incredible amount of time on their own playing trying to figure out what questions do I need to ask, what resources do I need, but I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to spend the time exploring and experimenting. And that's what we do in this class. We spend a whole lot of time with open-ended projects like make a ringtone. Well, a ringtone could sound like anything. So you've got a couple of days here to put some sounds together and try different things. Be silly, be weird, be scary. Play with it. I took all those lessons and I always played what my teacher was telling me to do. But at home, I was in my bedroom jamming to Led Zeppelin and Phil Collins on the drum set. At the end of this project, a bunch of us that had worked on it went out to dinner, and we were kind of laughing with each other and saying, yeah, we're all the kind of people who go rogue. We're all creators and builders and makers. And at a certain point in this project, each of us had to play the notes in a different way, make a different transition, decide to play with a different instrument. We had to do all these things that are skills. And so I don't know what my kids are going to be when they grow up, but I know that they're going to have these skills because we are inviting them to make their own music.